Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 11, text number 8. Nasmatkulochitam tata karma itat sadvigrahitam padoyad upadevanam arabdaste akriteynasam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My dear son, the killing of the sinless yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities, and it does not befit our family, which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion. Text 9. Nanva ekasya paradhena prasangad bahaho hataha bhratur vadhabiptena tvayanga bhratrvatsala. My dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly aggrieved at his being killed by the yakshas. But just consider, for one yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are all innocent. Text 10. Nayam margo hi sadhunam rishikeshanavartinam yadatmanam paragrahya pashuvad bhuta vaishasam. One should not accept the body as a self, and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotion service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. The word Sadhu Nam Hrishikeshanuvartinam is very significant. Sadhu means a saintly person. But who is a saintly person? A saintly person is he who follows the path of rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hrishikesha. In the Narada Pancharatra it is said, Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. The process of rendering favorable service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with one's sense is called bhakti or devotion service. Therefore, why should a person who is largely engaged in the service of the Lord engage himself in personal sense gratification? Dhruva Mahārāja is advised here by Lord Manu that he is a pure servitor of the Lord. Why should he unnecessarily engage like the animals in bodily concept of life? An animal thinks that the body of another animal is his food. Therefore, in the bodily concept of life, one animal attacks another. A human being, especially one who is a devotee of the Lord, should not act like this. A sadhu, a saintly devotee, is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Mahārāja to stop killing the yakshas, citing that what he was doing was not fair. Just because one of the yakshas killed his dear brother, he cannot take revenge of killing all the innocent yakshas. And he is advised that it is not befitting saintly persons to kill other bodies just like animals kill each other. And Swayambhuva Manu is citing also philosophy One should not accept the body as a self, and thus, like animals, kill the bodies of others. So here, the fact that you are not the body is cited to stop killing. Whereas the very same idea that you are not the body was used by Krishna to tell Arjuna to kill. What does it mean? It means what is primary is not body dharma. What is primary is what the soul should do or should not do. Sometimes by killing the body, that is what the soul should be doing. As in the case of Kurukshetra. And sometimes, here of course, this is not some dharma yuddha sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. So Swayambhu Manu was concerned that my child should not unnecessarily accumulate sin for which he has to suffer later. Always elders, parents, elders, they advised the others who are younger to them, their children, everyone, in a vatsalya mood, in a protective mood, that he should not engage in these activities as it is going to be not beneficial to him, rather it may be harmful to him. So out of that compassionate perception, the elders always advise. Here also Swayambhu Manu is advising that no, you stop killing, what you are doing is wrong. This is our Vedic culture. Vedic culture, it is not speculative culture. The basis for everything that a human being does is the sanction of the Lord. Even if it is at the level of bodily dharma, our Shastras have given laws of dharma for all levels of living entities. Whether it is for tamasic people, rajasic people, sattvic people, or for devotees, for everyone, there are principles of living enunciated by God Himself, and that is dharma. The existence of laws of God, laws of religion, higher laws of religion, beyond the laws of the government, laws of the land, which we are all aware that there cannot exist life without laws of a community, without laws in a country, without laws in a whole earth. There has to be laws. But these laws alone create a harmonious coexistence of all the living entities. According to the Vedic understanding, every living entity who takes a body, he has a right to live out his karma. This is a wish of the Lord, wish and will of the Lord. Whether it is love of Godhead or whether it is ordinary dharma as per Chaturvarnyam Maya Shishtam. Everywhere the Lord is all pervading and He is pleased by following His laws. We are His part and parcel. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. And this consciousness that I am not free to do whatever I want, that consciousness should go away. I cannot whimsically act. Sometimes there is a ego rasa, whimsically acting. Whimsical acting out of tamoguna. Acting in sattaguna means there is reason. And the reason is pleasure of the Lord or not to violate the scriptures. So all the more for those who are practicing devotion service, Prabhupada quotes this verse from Narada Pancharatra, Rishikena Hrishikesha Sevana Bhakti Ruchyate. The famous definition of what is bhakti. Rishikena Hrishikesha Sevana. Our bodies are not our bodies. In the sense, that is not our identity. Our body is something given to us to use. That use may be for self-centered happiness as a conditioned living entity. Or it may be for engaging in Krishna's service directly, in bhakti. So the living entity has to act in order to, ideally, constitutionally, he has to act in order to satisfy or please Hrishikesh, the master of all the senses, the master of the body. Sarvasya chahamridi sannivishta Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshi arjuna tishtati. And Krishna says, I am that super soul who is seated in everyone's heart. So the super soul is seated in my heart for me. Super soul is seated in your heart for you. Super soul is seated in his heart for him. So there is super soul seated in each of our hearts. And is described to be the Anumanta, Nupadrishta. The living entity is helpless in anything. A living entity is helpless in pursuing his independent existence, forgetful of Krishna, without the Paramatma. Therefore, he is called permitter. Anumanta. Because your desire he has to permit. Because material energy is not your energy, not your servant. Material energy is Krishna's servant. Material energy belongs to Krishna. So the material energy will listen to his orders, not our orders. But we are given creating an illusion that it is listening to my orders. I cannot lift my hand. When I wish, I lift my hand. So I think I am lifting. But without the sanction of the Lord, it's not possible. Our desires have to be sanctioned by the Lord. So in a sense, everybody is connected to Krishna in one form or the other. One form or the other. Whatever situation in life, we are all connected to Krishna. The Karmi society is also connected to Krishna. So this perspective of life, this world view of how the world is running, because the merciful presence of the Lord expanding as Paramatma in all jivas, in all the bodies, in the bodies, in each of the body, my soul is different, your soul is different, his soul is different. But in each of our bodies there is super soul, each of those super souls are same. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says it's just like one sun reflected on different water bodies on the earth. It is one sun. Similarly, one Supreme Lord, as Shirodakshaya Vishnu, is reflecting in the hearts of all living entities. And ultimately, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Ekala Ishvara Krishna, Arasabhabhritya, ultimate enjoyer of everything is Krishna. And everybody is serving Krishna. And Krishna's existential purpose is Anandamayobhyasat, is to engage in all-inclusive love and pleasure. Whereas in our case, when we serve Rishikesha, when we please the Supreme Lord, our devotion service means it is all-inclusive, it doesn't exclude anybody. Whereas in our case, self-centered enjoyment, it's for me, it's for me. Krishna is so selfless because he is never in Maya. He is Purna, full of, always, never forget. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, tells Arjuna, you have forgotten, so many lives you have taken, but I have not forgotten. Krishna's body is eternal. He incarnates by the show of his, by the tricks of his Yogamaya, Atma Mayaya. But there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's body. Whereas a living entity, there is always difference between his soul and his body. In the material world, he has a material body. In the spiritual body, he has a Chinmaya Sharira. Here he has a material body. Material body is given by the external energy of the Lord. Spiritual body is given by the internal energy of the Lord. Whether internal energy or external energy, whatever that body may be, that body is meant to be used. And you are not the body, but the body is to be used. In the material energy, it is used for earning sense gratification for the living entity. Body is not interested in sense gratification. Body is neutral. The living entity is using the body for sense gratification, and that is facilitated by the super soul, Paramatma. Govinda, the one who gives pleasure to the senses. Even though we say Govinda means pleasure to the senses, to transcendental senses, it is philosophically right to say that Govinda is the one who gives even the pleasure to the material senses. Seated as a Hrishikesha, he sanctions our pleasure. It is not possible for the living entity to get pleasure out of matter. Spirit cannot take pleasure out of matter. Matter does, pleasure is a Chinmaya property. It is a property of Chinmaya Vastu. Ananda, pleasure. Matter does not contain Ananda. Whether this body or whatever it may be, mind, whatever it may be. That's why Krishna says it's by mental concoction. You believe that it is Atma Ananda. It is a belief. Kama is a belief. It's a Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha. Krishna says, give up this belief about Kama. Kama means forgetting Rishikesha, without permission of the owner, the supreme owner of the body. If you utilize this body, even if you are a conditioned soul, you are expected to utilize this body as per the laws of religion, no problem, you enjoy. The Lord in the heart is seated and give us the experience of an illusory pleasure. Pleasure, of course, experience is experience. But it is illusory pleasure. So what is wrong with illusory pleasure? Illusory pleasure, what is wrong means what you are thinking it is pleasure is not pleasure. You may be believing it. If somebody gives a fake note, what is wrong? It looks like that note only. Fake currency. But actually it does not have that value which you are expecting it to have. You are thinking it is 100 rupees. You are thinking it is 2000 rupees. But you cannot buy that 2000 rupees worth from a fake note. You're thinking, you can imagine yourself. Yes, I got a bundle of 2000 rupees. But all fake notes. In the same way, all this entire gamut of sense gratification for power, knowledge, love, pleasure, sense pleasure. The entire range of this is created in this illusory Maya world. As a perverted reflection of all these rasas in the spiritual world. All these things in absolute exists. Power exists. That is why one person is supreme personality, all others are small jivas. Is absolute truth. The powerful person and the power, the energetic and the energy is an absolute truth. That's why our sample, this body also, if you see it's a sample, each of us are persons and then we have some power. Karmic power is given according to this body. Power to use the body, power for many other things. Power of your possessions, power of your money, power of your influence, all these kind of things. Each of us have got. And Krishna is a supreme personality, the Hrishikesha, who is seated in our heart. So either we can surrender to the Lord, act in a way we are always pleasing Hrishikesha. If somebody else has to follow, if this Krishna consciousness movement was not there, if somebody has to follow this principle of pleasing Hrishikesha always, it is so much more tougher than now. Today, Prabhupada has given this Krishna consciousness movement that such engagement has been given that all the time we are engaged in Hrishikesha Sevana. Our bodies are engaged, our minds are engaged in how to serve Srila Prabhupada. So we are able to practice bhakti very easily because of this. That's our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is that we are servant. Prabhupada repeatedly says, you are either a servant of Maya or servant of Krishna. Everything else is illusion. Illusion means what? You created in your mind. False ego is created in the mind. Illusory worlds are created in our minds. Illusion is not outside. Illusion is in the head. So much so that Dharma says, no, you cannot kill a body. Body is all illusion. No, body is not illusion. It is very much part of the scheme of the Lord. There is a particular use. You should use the body for that. Cannot misuse the body. Sin means what? Misusing the body. Misusing the body means using the body for a purpose for which it is not given to you. So we accumulate papa. So when we accumulate papa, naturally we deserve, even if you take in terms of karmis also. Karmis who do sin, they get a lower status, lower kind of body next life. Because you deserve, you misused it. You use it properly, you get a higher birth. But we are spared from all that by simply constantly engage in Hrishikesha Sevanam. Prabhupada writes that the devotee is always acting under the permission of the Super Soul. Of course, all this requires cleansing of the heart, otherwise we cannot even have a conversation with the Super Soul. The Lord is seated in the heart. To have a conversation with the Super Soul is not an artificial thing. The Lord is waiting to guide us through infusion of intelligence within us. He infuses us with realizations or transcendental knowledge as a Chaitya Guru in our heart. So as Bhakti Yogis, we have constant connection. In our Chaitanya Sampradaya, we have constant connection with Chaitya Guru, Super Soul. We take Super Soul direction to advance in Bhakti for Krishna. We take Super Soul direction to empower us to serve Krishna. We don't talk so much of Super Soul generally because we equate Super Soul's function with Guru's function. We say Guru Krishna. When we say Guru Krishna's mercy, it is Guru and Super Soul's mercy that you are able to do some service to Govinda, to Radha and Krishna. Do some service that pleases Nithaya and Gauranga. Or do some service that pleases Prabhupada because of Chaitya Guru. If we have to glorify Prabhupada, we can pray to Chaitya Guru, Super Soul. Super Soul, all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipotent Lord, seated in our heart. So for karmis, the Lord in the heart is Upadrishta and Anumanta, but for a devotee, Prabhupada says, two places he says, is Anumanta, Upadrishta and guide. Another place it says, he is a leader, personal leader. In a very broad sense, he is a leader of everybody because everybody is led by him according to their karma. Mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Without the Lord giving us remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Because we all act according to our knowledge. No? What comes in my mind only I act. But who is the one who gives that? So that lead is given by the Paramatma. That lead is given by Paramatma to the karmis in an impersonal way through his agency called Kala. When they don't care for him, for any relationship, why he should personally lead them? Ye tamam prapadyanse tam satya bhajamiham. His impersonal plenary expansion, powerful expansion called Kala is there. Kala will unfold in their heart. Like we say, Vinashakale Viparita Buddhi. Kala will unfold buddhi, good buddhi, bad buddhi, everything. And the person thinks it is my intelligence. But actually, Prabhupada says that the living entity is helpless to do anything in the material world. And therefore, Prabhupada says that we should always, before we act, we should take permission from the Lord. It's a very good habit to cultivate. It's a very good thing to culture that. At least if you are seeking the permission of the super soul, we may not be pure, but if you are seeking the permission of the super soul will definitely reciprocate. How can he not reciprocate? At least you are thinking that I cannot act independently. I have to act as a servant. As a servant I have to act means as a servant I have no independent desire than your desire. Please give me the ajna. Give me the prerna. Order, inspiration, jnana, bala, kriya. To serve the deities Radha and Krishna, to serve Thai Gauranga, to serve Krishna Balaram. It is very interesting that if you see, though we are always saying that our focus is Radha and Krishna, service to Radha and Krishna, but we cannot forget Vishnu. If you see Prabhupada's pranam mantra, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya, dear to Krishna and surrendered to Vishnu. The Lord, Vishnu is in charge of the whole world. Not a blade of grass can move without his sanction. So for us, our worship is, our consciousness is in the form of a Chaitya Guru. External spiritual master and internal spiritual master. So Krishna consciousness includes always remembering the Hrishikesha in this body. Then we'll be more responsible. Not somewhere, my God is sitting somewhere, I am pleasing him. Right here the Lord is there in the heart. And I have to be respectful to the body that he has given. He is also the proprietor. Especially so if somebody surrenders to Prabhupada, I become your disciple. Means you go and you are early morning you come and go before Prabhupada and park your body and say, this is yours. That is the meaning of obeisances. This is yours, I will use according to your permission only, according to your guidance. Same thing, may obeisances to all the deities. I am living in your home. I am your servant. My body and mind and myself. My body, mind and myself is at your service. I will not allow lusty enjoyer egos to come and haunt this body. Lust means sin. Self-centered. Mistaken that I am the body. If you think I am the body, the nature of the soul is Ananda. So it will try to take Ananda from the body. You see, mistake first is I am the body. Then you try to if I am the body, my nature is Ananda, I have to seek Ananda. Self always seeks Ananda. Soul has to seek Atma Ananda. Atma Ananda is in devotional service. Why? Because Atma, the soul, is part and parcel, inseparable part and parcel of God. God and Jiva is inseparable. Is inseparable. That understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Simultaneously one and different. It is one in the sense that it cannot be separated. You are one, you are both one. And different because one is tiny, one is supreme. One is servant, one is master. So that conception about self has to move from the body to the conception that I am spirit ego. Not a body person, I am a spirit person, not a body person. So anyway, basically this whole context is about the value of a body. You cannot deprive another soul of a particular body. It may be karmi's body, it may be devotee's body, but all bodies are, Lord is residing in all bodies. There is nobody who respects the Jiva as much, respects Jiva's freedom as much as Krishna. That is why as a Paramatma he is seated in the heart. Of course, he is very pleased when we practice bhakti. When we don't practice bhakti, then we are under the sway of the external energy of the Lord through Kala. When we practice bhakti, then we are completely, immediately under the Daivi Prakriti. The Lord is guiding us. That is why it is said that body should be free from all sins. That is our goal. And that is easily achieved if the medicine is taken properly. That is important. Our chittam, our consciousness is where all the sins are sitting. Sinful ideas are sitting. Sinful pleasure beliefs are sitting. All this thing has to be devastated by sending the holy name in through our ears. The holy name goes inside, does cheto darpana marjanam. Cleansing what? What is the dirt? Dirt is ignorance. And what does it cleanse with? Knowledge. Chit. The chit energy flows from the Nama Prabhu. Whatever we are today, different from the karmis, is because of the flow of chit energy from the Nama Prabhu into our heart. Because of our sadhana of chanting 16 rounds. You go on reading as much as possible Prabhupada's books. You have to come to the stage of worshipping the holy name and taking the holy name inside. Then only cleansing will happen. Otherwise, temporarily you will have nice understanding. But it will not create a change of heart. Change of heart in our life has happened because of the Nama Avatara. Just like whenever Prabhupada was asked what miracle you have done, like they asked in Chaupati, Pandal program, Prabhupada said, my miracle is this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How it has transformed all these people. That is a miracle. You cannot change people like this. Their consciousness is not possible. But we experience total, like this, it keeps changing. Before joining, whatever consciousness. Then after joining, after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you see your whole perspective is changed. Perspective about life, perspective about yourself, who I am, everything is changed. Totally a different person. That kind of transformation comes because of the holy name. Holy name and another thing, 4 regulative principles. No intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. These are the 4 abuses of the body, major abuse of the body. As long as there is abuse of the body, contact with Rishikesha becomes difficult. Because we come under the external energy. When we are under the external energy, we don't get that direction, we don't get that orders from the Lord in our heart. We don't get that inspiration to serve. Very often we have desire to serve because we are in the association of devotees. Prabhupada said we should do this, we should do this. Okay, fine, desire. But because of accumulation of sin or sinful thing, that there is no inspiration coming, no energy coming. So that is why that is why the spiritual master chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Don't dirty your body anymore. Don't dirty your mind anymore. 4 major ways of dirtying your mind is intoxication, meat eating, illicit sex, gambling. And the holy name, chanting the holy name will completely support you to give you strength to follow this. They are not independent. If some weakness is there, go on chanting, that weakness will go. Here also, go on trying to follow 4 regulative principles. Your chanting quality will increase. So in this way, we get support from the Nama Prabhu to break all our beliefs, pleasure beliefs in our mind. And finally, by Nama Prabhu's mercy, one understands very simply that very obvious, there is no pleasure in matter. In Chinmaya Vastu, there is intrinsically it has got Ananda. There is no quality of Ananda in matter. So that means if we are feeling pleasure, it is all Manogata. It's all mental concoction. This is revealed by Krishna in the 2nd chapter itself. One who understands that sense object pleasure is mental concoction. Why it is mental concoction? I am able to experience it. No. Why it is mental concoction? It is mental concoction because what you think it is not. The soul is seeking Chinmaya pleasure. So anyway, this is from the absolute point of view. This body is not Maya, this body is very valuable. It is, even for karmis it is valuable, for devotees also it is extremely valuable. For devotees also extremely valuable. So how we use this body to hurt others or to kill others or to indulge in sinful activities, we are simply hurting our soul, that's all. That's why Krishna says, Atmanashanam, Durashadam, informidable enemy. Material pleasure is considered as enemy. Of course, we all have senses and some pleasure is permitted. For instance, if you don't have pleasure in the tongue, you will die. Because you will starve. So it's given. And it is very clearly revealed that we are not like Mayavadis, no pleasure at all. What is authorized pleasure? I am not against pleasure. What is a pleasure sanctioned to me? Krishna Prasadam, I will take. In this way, Vaishnavas have a completely different perspective towards pleasure. They have different perspective towards love. Mayavadis say all love is Maya, all pleasure is Maya. No. Prabhupada says our nature is pleasure. And there is no sin in any pleasure. Just like you enjoy prasadam, there is no sin. Any other pleasure, you have a reaction for it. Krishna says you are eating only sin. So we sleep as much as required to rest the body, to give service to the Lord. It is not, even if you enjoy that much sleep, you will not get a reaction. Your whole day you are serving Krishna and you sleep, you don't get a reaction. Otherwise, everything that we do in this material world, we get a reaction. Everything has to be done as a yajna. Yajna means for the pleasure of the Lord. And where is that Lord? He sits in our heart. Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So first, this is where we begin our bhakti. We begin our bhakti by taking care that our body is engaged in service of the Lord. And it is not haunted by Maya. Any questions? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.